At 9:14 on a Saturday, Karen Vance stood in James Colmer's driveway and ordered the whole street to watch the end of his life in the neighborhood. She had drawn chalk across his concrete, taped an orange notice to his mailbox, and called 911 from the center of the cul-de-sac, as if the street itself belonged to her. James stayed on the porch, calm, black shirt sleeves down, hands still, watching the scene without giving her the reaction she wanted. Her son Kyle filmed from the sidewalk. Neighbors hovered behind curtains and hedges. Then the cruiser rolled in. Karen straightened like she had already won. The deputy stepped out, and the last name on his badge matched the man on the porch. The confidence drained from her face in one instant. Kyle kept recording. Nobody spoke. James had known this would happen the moment Karen made the call, because for 3 months he had been building a paper trail that left her nowhere to hide. That Saturday was not the start of the fight. It was the moment her entire story collapsed in public. James had lived at 214 Arlen Ridge Drive for more than 20 years. He bought the house with his late wife Ellen, who loved the morning light on the porch and the quiet rhythm of a neighborhood that used to feel harmless. James was 49, tall and lean, with short black hair and the kind of calm face that made people underestimate him. After Ellen died, he kept to himself, watered the plants, paid his bills, and tried to let grief stay private. Karen changed that. She was 39, polished and sharp, with curly golden hair, blue eyes, pearl earrings, and a dark pink blazer that made her look important even when she was being petty. She took control of the voluntary neighborhood association and turned small rules into a system of pressure. Fines appeared on mailboxes. Notices started arriving for grass height, plant colors, and porch items nobody had complained about before. Older residents paid because they were tired. Widows paid because they were scared. James watched the pattern grow and began saving everything. He kept every letter, every email, every photo, every notice taped to the mailbox. A lawyer eventually confirmed what he had suspected. The subdivision had no recorded covenant, and the association had no legal power over anyone who chose to leave. James sent in his withdrawal by certified mail and kept the green card in his pocket like insurance. His son Daniel, a county deputy, told him to keep records clean and never call him directly. James listened. Karen answered the withdrawal with humiliation. She marched up to James' porch with Kyle filming beside her, and an orange notice already taped to the mailbox. The paper claimed James owed an unauthorized resignation fee and threatened a lien if he refused to pay. It was a bluff, and she knew it. When James stepped outside holding the certified mail receipt and the board's acknowledgement, Karen grabbed the copy and tore it apart right there on the porch. The pieces drifted across the boards while Kyle kept the camera steady. Karen used the moment to make herself the center of the street, pretending destruction could erase a legal record. James did not argue. He did not raise his voice. He recorded every second on his phone and let her own confidence work against her. That silence changed the mood. Karen expected anger or fear. Instead, she found discipline. Over the next few days, the pressure kept coming. More orange notices, more side comments on the neighborhood page, more fake authority aimed at making him back down. James answered only with timestamps, photos, and backup files. He was no longer reacting. He was preparing. And Karen, used to easy victories, did not recognize the danger of a man who had stopped trying to win the conversation and started building a case. The harassment sharpened after that. Karen printed flyers accusing James of harming property values and passed them around like a warning. Kyle began patrolling the street with a phone and a clipboard, documenting mailboxes, porches, and driveways as if the cul-de-sac were his own private assignment. James kept his routine. He watered the lawn, checked his cameras, and filed reports. Then the morning came that changed everything. A yellow tow notice hung from his truck mirror with Karen's signature on it. At first it looked like another empty threat. Then James saw the fresh scratch running the length of the driver's side door. His security footage showed Kyle at 4:17 a.m. in a dark hoodie, carving the paint while Karen watched from the mouth of the cul-de-sac. James did not confront them. He took pictures, saved the video, and called the sheriff's office. Deputy Rivera arrived, reviewed the footage, and treated the tow notice for what it was: fraud, not authority. She gave James a case number and told him to keep documenting everything. Karen did not slow down after that. She escalated into a public campaign, calling an emergency HOA meeting and promising that the police would be on James' porch by Saturday morning. By then, James had learned exactly how far she was willing to go. Saturday morning arrived bright and still. Karen staged herself across from James' driveway with a folding chair, a thermos, and the white chalk line she had drawn like a border across his property. Kyle streamed live from the sidewalk while neighbors watched from porches and windows. James remained on his porch and waited. Karen called 911 on speaker and described James as a trespasser on HOA property. Minutes later, the cruiser rolled in, slow and deliberate. The driver door opened, and the deputy stepping out was Daniel. For one long second, the entire cul-de-sac froze. Karen's expression changed before her mind caught up with what her eyes were seeing. Daniel ignored the performance and went straight to the evidence. The certified mail green card proved Karen had signed for James' withdrawal months earlier. The board minutes confirmed the association had acknowledged it. The county records showed no deed restrictions at all. One by one, the papers pulled the floor out from under her. James had legally left the HOA. Karen had no authority over him, his porch, or his truck. Her 911 call had become evidence of a false report, and her chalk line had become a prop in a lie that could not survive daylight. The neighbors saw it all in real time. The live stream kept rolling. Karen, who had spent months trying to control the narrative, was now trapped inside her own. 2 weeks later, the district attorney filed charges related to the false report and the truck damage. The consumer office opened a review into the HOA's collection threats. Kyle paid restitution. Karen lost her lawyer. The insurance carrier denied coverage because her actions were outside any legitimate board duty. Soon after, the neighbors voted the enforcement side of the association out of existence. The fines stopped. The threats stopped. The street relaxed almost overnight. People left chairs on porches again. Hoses stayed out on Saturdays. Older residents stopped checking mail with fear in their hands. James put Ellen's hummingbird feeder back on the porch, and the birds returned within days. Karen and Kyle moved out a month later without fanfare. James never had to leave his porch. In the end, the woman who tried to rule the street learned that the quiet man with the paperwork had more power than her whole performance. When an HOA bully calls the police on the wrong house, who really owns the street?